Hey everyone, this is Helena Hart, and welcome to my live stream with Mike Goldstein on what to do when a man disappears and what to say to him when he comes back. These are like the top two questions I've been getting so often, especially lately, in the comment sections of some of my other videos. So we wanted to do a whole live stream just on this one topic because I know it's something that happens all the time. I've certainly been there, and I know pretty much every woman out there can relate to that. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Mike, he is awesome. He's an amazing relationship coach. He's the founder of Easy Dating Coach, and he has an 83 success rate for getting his clients into relationships quickly. We did a live stream together a couple weeks ago, I believe, and everyone loved Mike so much. They were like, bring him on again soon. So that's what we're doing today. So welcome, Mike. Thank you so much for being here.
Helena, I'm so pumped to be here. Thanks for having me.
This is such an important topic because it's definitely something I hear about all the time in women. And, what do you have to say? I'd love to hear everything you have to say on, first of all, why do men disappear? Maybe in the early stages. And then, I've also been hearing from a lot of women where they've been dating men for like a while, like a few weeks or months, and the guy ghosts them or disappears. I'd love to hear, all your thoughts on that.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal topic. So why men disappear? Let's talk about the early stages. Like if you're on, let's talk about like date 2 to date 8, where you guys don't really know each other that well yet. So those guys, we don't really know exactly why they're leaving. It could be a gazillion reasons, right? It could be he's not that into you. It could be his mom died. It could be he's busy at work. It could be he really does like you. He just has a lot of stuff going on. So we just don't know. But we do know we're not that happy about the behavior. But there is something we can control, right? And Helena, you always talk about this. We got to be in our feminine energy and like love our life. And that's part of it, is whether he disappears after date 2 or date 8. Like, who freaking cares at this moment? It's not something you can control. So just like go live your life and go enjoy yourself. If you were planning to hang out with your girlfriends, go see family, go to the gym, go play soccer, like go do the thing you want to do and be in this place of happiness and enjoyment. Or quite frankly, if you're on date 3 with the guy, maybe you're going on a date with another guy. So like, who cares? You've got options. Everyone who's watching this is probably like, yeah, I look good and I've got options and I've got a good job. I've got a good career. I'm fun to talk to. There's options. And also, what's really important, and we've all been there, Helena, I know I've definitely been there, where we're on date 2 or 3 and we're like, ooh, I really like this person. And then they ghost and you're all excited. But like, think about this really. If you've been on 2 dates, how well do you know this person? And I do this all the time. When I get on like date 2 or 3, I'm like so excited. I'm like, this is the girl. This is amazing. And really what I'm doing is I've painted a picture of what I think she is. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, she must have everything that I want. She must have a good job, work out, and eat healthy. And she's obviously fun to talk to. But there's all these variables that I've yet to uncover, but I've just assumed they must be fine. But everyone, like, let's relax. Like, let's look under the hood of the car. This thing could still be a lemon. So from 2 to 8, like, keep yourself even keel. Like, you can get a little excitement that you're like, finally a good date. But really, like, even keel until, like, there's commitment, until, like, at least date 8 or so, where it's like, all right, everything's smooth. Everything looks good. But even then, like, you really don't know someone until, like, 6 months, a year, 2 years, and so forth. So like we need to like hold our horses a little bit. Does that make sense, Helena?
Absolutely. And I love hearing your perspective with the time frames. I've heard other dating coaches, friends of mine, male and female, say, you can't really tell what a guy is going to do until about 3 or 4 months in. what's your take on that? First of all, this is a two-part question, but how do you feel? Is there a certain timeline to where I love that you gave the number of dates, but would you say for the first, 3 or 4 months, men feel really intensely in short bursts, right? Just like you said. So they might be coming on really strong. They might be like, this is the one, I'm so excited about this girl. And then maybe after that time frame, the reality of the situation might hit him, and all of that, the good feeling brain chemicals like dopamine and norepinephrine and serotonin that are like associated with the newness of the situation. When those wear off, then a man might be hit with the reality, like, oh, I don't actually know if I'm ready for a serious relationship or if I can give her what she's looking for. What would you say about the time frame? Because what I would love is for women to not get overly invested in a man until they know for sure that this isn't going to happen. What are all your thoughts on that? I'd love to hear.
Yeah, that's such an amazing question. And there's so much to unpack on that. So the first thing women sometimes go and they're like, this man is freaking crazy. Like, he's telling me he really likes me and he's into me and he's talking about future plans, wants to introduce me to friends and family, and everything's moving forward. And then all of a sudden the dude's like, I'm out of here. And so many times women come to me, they're like, I'm dating the most nuts person. Like, he's two persons. Two people. And I'm like, well, let's understand this better. So first thing, men know who they think they're going to fall in love with on average by date 2, which is scary and crazy all at the same time. And women, on the other hand, on average is date 14. So this is why it gets confusing. So men on date 2, or really by date 3, on average are saying like, you're fantastic and I'm really into you. And most women are like, I barely know you, like, relax. But he really is feeling it. Like, he's excited, he's pumped up, and he is going to start talking about future plans, introductions, and all this stuff. And most women are like, pumping the brakes. But this is exciting. And then if he continues that through date 5, 6, 7, 8, you're like, whoa, this is looking good. And you're excited. But really what happens is, let's say you start spending a lot of time together, right? And now we're going to talk about some of the science. Like, when he lifts weight or gets things done, his testosterone builds up. And when a man has a lot of testosterone, he's happy and he's ready to rock and roll and he's ready to be your man and court you. But if you guys spend a lot of time talking or a lot of time hanging out, it actually starts to produce a little bit of estrogen, which is okay. But it brings his whole mood down a little bit. And also, let's say you guys have sex. Once again, that really drops his testosterone level. And so if you guys are sexual, he has to get that back and rebuild it. So that may be what causes him to disappear for a little bit. Now, a man that doesn't understand this whole process goes and looks at, Pamela down the street, and he's like, wait a second. Like, all of a sudden I'm excited, and it's not, if I'm dating Helena, it's not Helena, it's Pamela. And he doesn't understand that this is just how the male brain works. Like, it gets triggered by a different woman. But if he was smart, he'd realize, hold on, forget Pamela. I've built this great connection with Helena. I just need to relax. I need to go rebuild my testosterone. I need to go play soccer. I need to go get tasks done. I need to go kick butt at work. And in a few days, all of a sudden he's like, whoa, Helena's looking amazing again. Like, I need to go ask her out. Does that kind of explain it?
Yeah, I'm so glad that you are talking about the science behind it, because it can be really tempting to take it personally, right? Like, well, what happened? Maybe I did something wrong to make him disappear, or we start replaying the conversations, or we start beating ourselves up or blaming ourselves. Really, some of the worst things you can do, right, when this happens. And what I'm hearing you say is it's kind of natural, which I believe too, for a man to come close and then pull away a little bit. Obviously, if a guy is coming on strong, then just flat out disappearing for weeks at a time, we don't want you to invest in a man like that anyway, right? But there's this natural thing, right, where after, especially after, like you said, spending some time together, he has to take some space for himself to rebuild that testosterone. I mean, it's like a physiological thing that's healthy, and I believe women should be taking space for themselves too. So we have some great comments. By the way, every time I'm looking here, I'm just checking the comments. Lee says, it happened to me. He was going strong, then said he doesn't want a relationship. Yeah, this is such a common thing. you guys have experienced this, we'd love to hear your experiences in the chat, in the comment sections. Someone said, I just pull back. I tell him to go hang out with his friends. It's a great thing to do. We'll get to some of these questions. Lots of great questions coming through. So that can tend to happen. Now, is there something a woman can do? I know I've heard you talk about this in other videos to like make that time, that space that he needs shorter. What should a woman do when a man comes back after pulling away a little bit? Again, in this healthy, normal way, not in an extreme way or in a way that's like punishing her. But let's say he does need to take some time for himself. Then he comes back. This is another big question I get all the time from women. They don't know what to do or say when a man comes back. So I'd love to hear everything you have to say on that.
Let's go like in order, if that's all right. Before he comes back, if we're in a relationship, there actually should be a very distinct process before he leaves. And so let's say you've been dating for a few years or maybe just at least 6 months. There should be some dialogue. Sorry to stop here, but I want both you guys to work on kind of like your plan of action. And if you will, like a contract of like how he's going to leave and what the process is. So maybe what he needs to do, and you guys have decided this, is when he realizes he needs time, he says like, hey, Helena, you're absolutely amazing. I love you. I need a few days to go get out of my man cave, if you will. And then I'll be ready and to be back in action and kick butt. And so maybe for him, he just needs 2 hours. He's going to go play soccer and then he's back. Or maybe it's like, it's been a very stressful time. Maybe he needs a day or two. But talking about it and saying, well, first of all, what are Helena's needs? And so Helena gets the voice like, I need this, I need that, I need you to say this. It can't be this long. And having her be heard, having him listen and really caring about what she wants, but her also caring about what he needs. So kind of coming together with, this is our plan of action. This is how we're going to do it. Does that make sense?
I love that. I think that's fantastic, especially in a relationship. If you're in an exclusive relationship with a man, I think you have a little more leverage because in a sense, he's kind of saying like, I want to be the man that meets your needs. I don't want you getting those needs met from other men. So you have a little more leverage to ask for some of those things, right? What if they're just dating? What if they maybe just met and have only been out a few times? What can a woman do in that situation?
Yeah. So if they're first dating, that's such a great question. It goes back to what I said earlier, just like go have fun, go live your life, go on a date with another person. And quite frankly, like if a guy disappears for long enough early on, most women here have probably already moved on or just like, all right, dude, like we're on 3 dates and you disappear for 2 weeks. Like, come on, like get this thing going. Like I'm a high value woman. I'm the queen right here. And right now you're in peon status and men need to understand that. When they're courting, they are in peon status until they get upgraded. And so, yeah, he's got to step it up early. And women should just like really just move on and not even worry about it because like they barely know the person too.
I totally agree. I say if a man disappears after a few days, just let him go, right? Like don't follow him down some rabbit hole, like stay on your path, right? And you just have to trust that if he's the right guy for you, if he's truly interested, he's going to want to jump on that path with you so he doesn't lose you to another man, right? What would you say about that?
I mean, absolutely. Like, listen, here's the facts. If I'm not that into someone, maybe I reach out occasionally and I really don't care. She's like priority number like 57. And I usually probably would just end up not reaching out to her, right? But if someone I'm really excited about, if there's a 10,000-foot wall right there, I am going to somehow scale that thing and I am going to find a way to contact her, get a hold of her. Like whatever it takes, I'm going to get it done. And that's the men mentality. We are here to hunt. And if we want it, we are going to get our hands on it. Not physically, but you know what I mean?
I love hearing that too, because that's something I say all the time. I mean, I can say that all day long, but I love hearing that from a man's perspective. Thank you for that. Amazing. Can we answer some of these questions? I don't want too many of them to get away. Or do you have
let's answer some questions.
Okay, awesome. Let's see. What if he plans to meet me in 14 days, but now I don't hear from him for a week? Great question from Janny. What would you say about that one, Mike?
Hold on, just to clarify, they set up a date 2 weeks in advance, right?
Yes, and now she hasn't heard from him for a week. What should she do?
So we still got some time. So great question. Phenomenal. That happens all the time with everybody because we've lived busy lives. I would wait till we're closer to the date and just literally confirm. Because like honestly, it's something out of respect. Like I think we've all been there where it's like we're freaking busy, and if I've locked down this Thursday or whatever day it is for this person, like they need to be respectful of your time, and you could open that time up for someone else or just any other activity. So at some point, it's just like, hey, are we still on for Thursday or whatever? So sending that text, a guy shouldn't be upset, and quite frankly, he should be confirming um, ahead of time too. And if there's any guys watching, if you have a date, like try to give her the information as early as possible. It makes her feel safe that the date's actually happening. But if she's really excited about you, let's say you're going to a restaurant or a certain bar, gives her time to like research it. And like, if it's dinner, it's like, well, let me pick out what I'm going to get. And she starts getting excited. So men do that. But for her, simply just send them a text when you're closer to it, confirming that it's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's one of the top questions I get from clients too. They'll email me to be like, we have a date tonight, but I haven't heard from him all day. What do I do? Do I reach out? It's a really common thing. So I'm so glad you said that. Yes, I do have a couple of really smart men who watch my channel as well. So I'm glad you gave some advice for the guys out there. Love and Happiness says, the only time I text him first is if his energy's been coming towards me super strong. And as soon as I feel him pull back, I pull back as well. I let his energy lead and stay in my feminine energy. Amazing. Yeah, that's exactly what we would have you do. I love that. Zuri says, what if a man disappears because he's mad at me? He has a right to be angry, and I know I have to apologize, but he's also hurt by what happened. He's taking space. 5 dates, and we've been friends for 8 years. So what if there's been an argument or a situation where a man's angry, and that's why he's pulling away? Would your advice be different for a woman in that situation, Mike?
Yeah. It depends on the guy and how upset he is and what really happened. But to generalize, if you can get an apology out there, but like not talk, like if you realize he definitely needs space, like either a text or maybe a quick phone call, and assuming he picks up, just be like, I know you need your space. I just wanted to let you know I am terribly sorry. And now I'm going to run. And you literally hang up the phone. You say like, I wish you well. When you're ready to talk more, we'll talk. Bye. And get off the phone like that. Cause, you're going to drive a man crazy if maybe, men really respect their time. And if he doesn't want to talk and you're making him talk, like you're going to get him angry, even more angry. So something quick, let him get off the phone and he'll start thinking about it like, oh, Helena, like if Helena was apologizing, like that was really nice of her. Like I should give her a second chance. And, now that I'm calmed down, like, I guess it wasn't that big of a deal. Let me call her and we'll make up.
I love that. I love that you said that. It's funny. A lot of times it's our tendency when we feel like we have to apologize to explain ourselves endlessly or over apologize and grovel and defend where we stand. And that's not the time to do that. Not when a man's taking space. I would have a woman do exactly what you said, Mike. If she feels the need to apologize, keep it short, sweet, and, take all the time you need. I'll be, let me know when you're ready to talk. I love that. Yeah. Amazing.
Sorry. In regards to apologizing too, the best thing about men, like we obviously have a ton of faults, but what's great about men is if you say sorry, it's like a light switch. You say sorry and we just immediately like, oh, you're good. Like it's quick. If it's not something crazy bad, but we forgive really fast. It's not, obviously women, like it's sometimes more of a process but men, like think about it. Like if our friend says like, I'm sorry, we just slap it out. We're good. And then that's it. And we move on.
I'm like totally cracking up over here because I'm like a total grudge holder, but men aren't like that. They're not like us. They just want to feel good in the moment. Like they let things go so fast. So, a lot of women ask me like, can this be turned around? And I'm like, absolutely. Like men can turn around on a dime once you recreate this dynamic, right? Yes. You're nodding over there. You agree with me? Yeah.
100%.
They just want to feel good in the moment. So if you can make that happen and you don't do it by explaining yourself and talking about what happened endlessly, right? You just do exactly what you said. I love that. And relationships can recover quickly. Men can recover quickly. I get that question all the time. Like, can this be turned around? And the answer is usually yes. Right? Would you agree with me there?
Yeah, spot on. And I love, like, the most important thing she said is men want to be happy in the moment. So as long as you have a lot of happy moments, like, you're going to be in good shape.
Totally, totally. Yeah, I definitely agree. Someone says, in my dating experience so far, I seem to understand the male behavior, so I don't take things personally. I'm an extremely sensitive person, though. So, how do I build that stamina to not feel neglected, especially in the early stages of dating? Great question that relates to this topic. You know what? I mean, it's easy for us to say, oh, just forget about him and move on, but it can be like painful and it can be hard to not take it personally. Like, oh, I thought things were going well. So, do you have any tips for women in that situation, how to build up the stamina to not feel neglected or take it so personally?
Oh man, that is really, really hard question. And there's not like a great answer, but really you kind of have to, like, the early stages of dating are not great. But what I would say is, if you can find a partner that loves to over communicate, and you maybe are an over communicator, which is actually a really great thing for relationships, because then you can make sure no one's feelings are hurt. But even early on, if you find a partner that loves to communicate and wants to make sure things are right, you can tell him, like, hey, when this happens, it makes me feel X. So he understands you. And maybe you're not talking about him, but you're saying, like, in general, when X happens, I feel Y. And now he's like, okay, I don't want to do that. And it's not about him. You're not putting him down. It's really just this amazing relationship where you guys are getting to know each other. And so it's a place of understanding each other as opposed to like combative. And now he's got the tools early on so he can, give you what you need, and you can get to know him better too and find out what he needs. And then you kind of have the groundwork to have a really good relationship. And a lot of us don't do this early on in the relationship, but it's so sexy. Like, if you really care about the person, you're trying to get to know them, it just shows effort and shows like you care about them. I mean, it's really a beautiful thing if you guys can communicate like that.
I love it. Yeah, amazing. I could not have said that any better myself. That was so good. Let's move on a little bit, and then we'll get to some of these questions at the end. Hopefully, there's so many good ones. There's 160 people about watching live, so this is great. By the way, I want to mention, we'll talk about it more at the end, but get Mike's free gift. It's in the description right now. It's about how to get a guy and keep him forever. There's also a free webinar on how to attract a high quality man who won't disappear. So both of those free gifts in the description right now. You guys can go check those out. They're amazing. One question I get all the time, so I definitely wanted to cover this, Mike, is what to say to a man who disappeared and then he comes back. You know, one of those vanisher guys, right? Where he comes on strong, disappears for maybe a few days, few weeks, depending on how long they've been dating, and he comes back. Women definitely want to know what to say. A lot of them are upset and mad. They ask me, like, do I address it or do I just be cool and lean back? I would love to hear all your thoughts, Mike, on that one.
Yes. Phenomenal question. So we have to be really careful, because we've all had someone disappear and it drives us nuts, right? And what we want to do is, when they come back, is like jump down their throats and start being like, why? Where'd you go? Like, what are you doing? You gotta chill for a second. You may get that opportunity. We first need to like get really curious, because I'm wildly optimistic, and I'm just assuming like their mom died or their sister died or something happened. And all my clients are like, oh my God, he's so optimistic. But we have to give people the benefit of the doubt. It's just the way I like to live. But anyway, we asked them, like, oh, so where'd you go? What happened? And hopefully it's reasonable. Maybe like, and maybe nothing's reasonable, but maybe it is legit. Like, someone's in the hospital, or, crazy things at work, blah, blah, blah. So we first find out. And regardless of it, then maybe we have a dialogue like, I started to feel X. When you disappeared, it made me feel X. And if you've got the right guy, he's gonna be like, oh, I didn't want you to feel like sad or abandoned or whatever you felt. Like, oh, that's the exact opposite of what I wanted to accomplish. And so he's going to work and like, how do I fix this? Like, I don't want you to ever feel that again. Assuming you're willing to give me a second chance. Like, I want to fix this and never have that happen again. Would that be a good answer, Helena?
Yeah, you know what I love about that is, first of all, I love the kind of innocent until proven guilty mindset kind of thing, right? Like, let's just give him the benefit of the doubt, right? And trust that he, you know, he has your best interest. It wasn't intentional, because your vibe is going to be completely different, is, you know, rather than assuming he's with another woman or something like that, right? Our mind can tend to go to some crazy places sometimes. So just innocent until proven guilty. I love that. And what I love about it is it's not to, you know, sharing the impact that that had on you is not to like make him pay or, right, or to like, you know, like make him do what you want. It's to see what he does with that information. I love that you said that. Like, if you have a good guy, he's going to say something like, oh my gosh, I don't want you to feel that way. I didn't realize the impact that had on you. Sometimes men don't like realize that how their actions, or especially their space, can affect the woman they're dating. That's been my experience. What do you think about that, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, not to knock guys, but we're really absent-minded, myself included. Like, if I'm in the zone trying to get something done, like if I've got like some crazy deadline at work, like I'm trying to do my own summit, if you will, like I'm just laser focused on that, and anything else that's happening, it's not priority number one. And so Helena talks about this all the time, how men are just single focused. So he might just be on some deadline or doing something. And then even though you may have been dating for a year or two and you truly are his priority number one, in this moment, he needed to focus on work or whatever it is, which doesn't mean that you're not priority number one. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. I mean, yeah, men can kind of, they're so single focused that it's kind of like whatever's in front of them, whatever they're doing is what they're focused on. It doesn't mean that he doesn't miss you and, you know, doesn't like you, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. Great question. Great question. So let's see. There's so many of these. Lee says, oh, there's like lots of parts to this one. Should I trust anyone? Should I trust a man who lied about smoking? Met online. I made it clear I wasn't into a smoker for personal reasons. Then seeing what it does to your health. Asked a few times when I smelled it, I think is what you meant to say there. Yeah, I've had quite a few clients in this situation lately. I'm not sure what's going on, but yeah, what would you say? This is kind of off topic, where you meet a man online and you find out he lied about something. Do you have any quick advice for her or anyone in that situation?
Yeah, that's such a tough one. And I'd love to hear your opinion too, but it's really evaluating what's important to you and what your boundaries really are. Like, is this a loose boundary where maybe you could date someone who smokes, or is this like so firm where it's like absolutely not? And also, like, I'm also thinking like, ugh, the dude lied. And you know, I get it. I can't believe this stat, but I think it's like 80% of people lie about their online dating profile. So that's like a crazy amount. And I can't believe that exists. Like, I'm just a very honest person, so I don't lie, but 80% of people do. So that means it's more normal that people are lying, way more normal that they're lying than not. Granted, they may be like minuscule, like someone says they're 6 feet when they're really, 5'11". But yeah, like something big like this, which obviously is an important issue, you need to evaluate how important it is to you. And if it is important, and on top of the fact that he's lying, maybe you want to talk through it. Maybe you want to see you later.
Yeah, especially if you don't know him, that I don't really know how long you've been dating or how invested you are. But if you don't, if this is just a new guy and this is kind of a deal breaker, as it would be for so many women, you might just want to let that one go. If he's continuing to lie about it, right? If he isn't owning up to it or being honest and straightforward. We Photo Gal has a question for Mike. I need a guy's perspective. I think I gave a guy the wrong impression as to being loose, or how did you give him that impression? Because I'm looking, I don't know if you can see these questions, Mike, but how did you give him that impression? I'm complete opposite. Would he lose interest because of that? I feel like I ruined it. We have attraction, kissing, friends, but live far apart. We've known each other for a long time, but I don't hear from him. Do you have any thoughts on that initially, or do you need more information, Mike?
Yeah. All right. So she alluded to, like, I guess, being like sexually active. Is that my understanding?
I think so. Yeah.
That could be a good thing or a bad thing. So we don't know. It depends on the guy. Like, some guys are going to be like, oh, cool. Like, it's not, goody two shoes. Like, this is exciting. and other guys might be turned off by that. So like, let's not put all men into one bucket. And since I don't know this guy, he could fall into either bucket. But at some point, like if you're close with him, you can talk to him about it. And really,
Yeah,
like even
she said she added a little more. We were at an event and I got tipsy. I came on too strong. Can a woman recover from that situation, Mike?
how strong did you guys have
Yeah.
sex or?
I know, I'm wondering too, but I think you can recover. If it's all about, it just depends too. Yeah, it just depends. How strong did you come on? I know it's hard to like put your situation out there on YouTube, but if you feel comfortable giving us a little more information, that would probably be helpful. No
Wait,
sex.
can I talk about a side topic about this kind of?
Absolutely, yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool. So I want women to understand that there are men that are just relationship oriented. So I'm always telling people like, don't have sex till monogamy, just because that covers your bases and you're safe with everyone. But wildly important, there are men that are just relationship oriented, right? And so if you have sex on date 1, date 5 seconds, it doesn't matter with them. If they like you, you can have sex early with them and they're going to call you for date 2, date 3, date 4, date 5. It's sometimes hard to tell which of those men are those men. So that's why kind of my catch-all is just don't have sex until the guy's fully vested.
Hey, that's such great advice. It's so hard to give advice for like thousands of people. Obviously, every situation is different. That's why having a coach or being in the smaller group program setting is sometimes really helpful. She said she told him my room number. I'm assuming like a hotel room number. No sex at all. Any advice for her? Should she reach out? Should she say something? She said she got tipsy. She told him her room number. I'm assuming like hotel room number, but they didn't sleep together.
All right. Well, I love the effort, like way to try to make things happen. So that's good. Yeah, I would just go quiet, like, and see if he reaches out. Cause I'm sure you've definitely got his attention. Like any man that's like, it sounds like a woman wants to have sex. Like he's tuned in. Like, he's like, whoa, hold on a second. Someone wants to have sex with me. Like, I'm excited. And, I would imagine he's probably going to reach out if he wants sex and maybe wants a relationship, but realistically at this point, he's probably thinking sex, which is fine. And here's how you recover if you are looking for a relationship. It is a great thing when a man wants to have sex with you, first of all. Like some women get offended on date 1, date 2 when he's trying to have sex, but really just let's translate man speak. He is saying, you are so beautiful. You are beautiful and I want you. That's what he's saying. Now your job is very simple. Just say like, I'm having so much fun with you. You're fantastic, but I don't have sex until I'm in monogamy or in a relationship. Now, once you've said that, if he keeps coming back and asking you on date 2, date 3, date 4, date 5, you're in good shape. If he disappears, well, then he didn't like you. He just wanted sex. So it's pretty simple and you'll be moving in the right direction with a lot of these men.
That was such a phenomenal. Everyone just needs to rewind that and watch it like 10 times. That was so true. Yeah, I say the same thing. They're supposed to want to like have sex with you and get close to you. Like that's a good thing. It's not bad. And you are in total control of this as a woman, right? You can pace it. Like I love that. And just saying that, like I really looking forward to getting close with you in that way. And that's something I feel comfortable with, once we're in a relationship or whatever it is you need. If he disappears after that, it's like, well, there's your answer right there. That was so brilliant. I love that. A couple more related questions. Takesha says, what to do if a man I'm interested in suddenly pulls away, but somehow keeps the door open for communication without responding to me. He says he's not looking for a relationship, then asks me, what are you looking for? I always say if a man says he's not looking for a relationship, believe him. Don't read into different things, right? Mike's nodding over there. I'm assuming you agree with that, right?
That is the perfect advice. Like, see you later. He told you. Listen to him.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. Someone else asked, we built a strong emotional connection, also enjoyed sexual things. Then he suddenly backed off, turned into a friendship. He still wants to see me, but no sexual things. What's happening here? What can I do to make the romantic relationship back? I would say if he's not wanting to sleep with you, that is, a little bit of a red flag. To me, it sounds like he's not looking for that kind of connection. From my perspective, Mike, what would you say about that?
That's an interesting one. It really depends on the guy. He could be wildly shy and just nervous. So I wouldn't totally rule him out. I'd actually have a dialogue with him. It's really important to over communicate, like I talked about earlier, but it's okay, like at that point, to tell him like, hey, I like you, like I'd like to see where this goes or whatever. Or even if you are still hanging out, like, hey, we got sexual once, like how come we haven't done it since? And let him talk and find out the reason. He could be nervous. He could be, I've heard some crazy stories where like the guy was having some surgery fix and just couldn't. Yes, this really happened. Things happen. You never know. So yeah, talk about it.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, or yeah, even just saying that if he's the right guy, oh my gosh, he's not going to jeopardize his chance to be with you, right? He's not like the right guy is not going to like mess up his chance to be with you. There's so many questions about, well, what about this? What about that? These little nuances where, if you can just trust that the right man, just like Mike said, is going to climb over mountains to be with you. I don't know if that's the right phrase. Move mountains to be with you, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Let's see. Ivy asks, how do you create passion or butterflies again in a long-term relationship? Mike, any words of wisdom for women who are in long-term relationships and the man's backing off a little bit?
Yeah. So you need to like find out, and it's so funny, like we kind of like forget about the courting phase when we get in these long-term relationships. I know I'm totally guilty of this myself. And you really just got to remember like, what got you guys going while you were dating, and like think back to like date 3, date 5, date 6, date 7. Like what were you guys doing? And having a dialogue with your guy and talking about like what gets him hot, what gets you hot, how can we do this? Setting up date night, setting up like fun things to do. Like maybe like your guy's favorite movie is Pretty Woman, and you guys want to reenact the Richard Gere scene. I mean, that could be pretty fun. Or maybe like you like Top Gun or something and you want to reenact that. Whatever. Just talking about what gets you guys going and doing it. What do you think, Helena?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think also like new experiences too kind of creates that dopamine in the brain, just like shared experiences together. It can be so easy just to fall into a routine and let some of those things go. But if you have dinner at the same place every night, if you have sex in the same place in your house, in the same couple of positions, like it's not that memorable. These things aren't going to be that memorable. So, it's like, what do you remember things like when you're on vacation and stuff, because they're new. So try infusing some like newness into the situation, even just breaking up your routine a little bit, like just in small ways, doesn't have to cost any money really, can do a lot to like infuse some newness and memories where things become a little more like mix it up a little bit is what I'm trying to say,
Yeah. Another thing, and this is out there, but if you go on like perfectly what Helena said was like something new, but if you go on dates that are more around physical activity, like maybe like a hike, and then of course, like maybe you're living together and like every day you wear your sweatpants and you don't look that sexy, no makeup, whatever. But on this date, you're like, you've got your like sexy leggings on, and every girl looks good in those pants. It doesn't matter. Like you look phenomenal. Let's be honest. So just wear that. He's hiking with you. He's going to be staring at your butt the whole like hour or two that you're hiking. And the physical activity builds his testosterone. Then he's looking at your butt for an hour or two. You'll be surprised what fireworks are happening when you guys get home, or maybe like even during the hike. But this stuff works. And this is what gets guys like, she looks hot. I need to do something here.
I love that. I love that. Great advice. Everyone, by the way, like everyone's saying, oh, that was a great answer. Thank you so much. So I forgot to tell you that earlier, but
thank you guys.
Yeah, a couple more like good questions and comments popping in. I don't want to keep you on here forever. I know it's been like 45 minutes, I think. So let's recap this. What to do when a man disappears or pulls away, and what to say or do when he comes back. If you could just recap a little bit, and then we'll talk about your free gift, and then any last questions that come through between now and then.
All right, cool. So Helena gives like the best answer ever on this. So if you ever find her videos, Women need to go on their feminine energy and just go have fun when the guy disappears, go on other dates, like go play soccer, go do whatever you enjoy doing, and bring your oxytocin level up and forget about him. Next, when he does reappear, ask him questions, why he disappeared, find out if it's legitimate, whatever. And then talk to him about what your feelings are. So let him get curious about you. Why did you get upset? Why are you feeling sad or whatever? And make this simple for him. Don't go in like a vomit of information yet. What you need to do is just say, when you left for this week, it made me feel sad, angry. Just list your emotion in one sentence. This is vitally important. He is going to lose this whole thing if you don't do this in one sentence. This is so freaking important because he needs to understand when X happens, you feel Y. And it has to be worded that way, or he may lose what you're trying to say. And then hopefully he says, oh, I didn't mean to make you feel that way. And then when he finally comes back, I'm sorry, we covered this. We're good, right?
Absolutely. That was amazing. So good. A couple more great questions came through. Do you mind if we answer these last two and then we can talk about your free gift?
Sure. Let's do it.
Okay, let's see. The person whose guy said he's not ready for a relationship says, should I still have hope to hear back from this guy, even if we haven't talked for a few days? I know he likes me, but he wants me to chase, and he's playing mind games. I would say don't hope for anything. Like, release your attachment to that outcome or result. That will serve you better than anything else, right? If you're waiting and hoping to hear back and then you don't get that response you were hoping for, that's going to feel terrible, and you're not going to, there's just no way on earth that's going to feel good. So if he's not right in front of you, or if he's not contacting you, he doesn't exist in your world right now, right? So if he's not right in front of you, what is right in front of you? There's plenty of things to do and think about and talk about that have nothing to do with this man. That's my take on this, Mike. I'd love to hear any words of wisdom you have for this woman.
Yeah, I need to make this so simple, and this is just like words to live by. Evaluate the relationship. Don't evaluate the man. Because what we tend to do is we look at this guy and we're like, he's got a great job. He's so charming. He's so good looking. He's good in bed and blah, blah, blah. And we're like, this man's fantastic. I want him. But then the relationship is not great. He's not texting you. He's not calling you. He's not pursuing you. He's not putting you as priority number one. So if we're using evaluate the relationship, we're like, this dude's a loser. But if we're evaluating the man, we're like, he's strong. He's sexy. Great job. Blah, blah, blah. Forget that noise. Evaluate the relationship, and that's all you need to do, and that will determine yes or no for every man moving forward.
That is such phenomenal advice, like amazing. Yeah, I always say we can get so like wrapped up in the chemistry we feel for a man that we forget to watch his actions and what he's actually doing. You can save yourself from so much confusion and anxiety, and all these questions can kind of be answered just by becoming an observer of what a man does, right? Not what you think he means and what, like read between the lines, just what's he doing and how does that make you feel? Similar question from Leah. She says, how do you tell when a man is making an excuse versus telling the truth when he turns you down on an invitation? Would he explain himself, or would he have no reason? Yeah, I mean, similar kind of thing. It really doesn't matter. He turns you down, so don't analyze. Is he lying? Is he not lying? Just watch what he's doing and respond accordingly. That's what I would say on that one. Mike, what about you?
Yeah, that's spot on. You're so right. Just who cares? You're not going. No reason to analyze. Go have fun. Rebuild your oxytocin, all that fun stuff. And then let him pursue you. Like, go silent. See if he asks you on a date. See if he texts you. See if he calls you. All this is telling you that he's interested. If you're inviting him to things, you're texting him, we never get information to know how really interested this guy is. So let him come.
I love it. Yeah, exactly what I would say. This is so great, but I love having you on here, Mike. I just love getting your perspective. It's so awesome. Okay, I think that is all the questions that I can see. There's like so many, it was distracting me. So sorry, I was also not feeling that well today. So thank you for kind of like carrying this, Mike. That was awesome. This was phenomenal. Let's talk about your free gift. 2 free gifts, actually. They're both in the description right now. You guys can go check them out. What do you have for everyone, Mike?
Yeah, I wish like the cameras were like dual, because every time like I answer a question, you go, Mike, you're such a genius or whatever. I light up like a Christmas tree. She can see it. I smile so big. I'm like, you guys need to learn from Helena. She's so freaking good at giving words of appreciation and making me feel like my advice is probably better than it actually is. And so she's phenomenal at like getting a guy happy. So
That's
take
so
notes.
funny. Someone else told me that the other day, and I have no idea that I'm doing it. It's so natural because it just feels good. It just feels good to appreciate everybody and everything. And so yeah, everybody do that. It's such a simple thing to do, but it's great. It's a good thing, and you'll start to see more of that in your man as well. The things you appreciate and reinforce and bring out. If a guy's doing something you like, tell him. It's a phenomenal thing to do, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about your free gift. One of them is a webinar on how to attract a high quality man who won't disappear. Do I have that right?
Yeah,
I don't have it
can I
written
talk
down.
about it? Is it all right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, I have 2 free gifts, and I got 2 options for you guys, or both. But one of them's like 5 minutes long, and it's how to get and keep a guy forever. So that's if you want a quick hit. It's phenomenal. It's got like hundreds of likes, and everyone loves it. It's really good, and it's going to be helpful. The next thing, believe it or not, I actually spent $10,000 building this webinar with a bunch of marketing folks. So this is like my baby, and this will show you how to do online dating and actually find a guy. And this thing's amazing, and it's really, really top notch. It's like about 50 minutes. I spent a lot of time building this, and it's spot on. And for those that don't know my background, everything I do is math and science based. I'm not guessing with my online dating stuff. It's all, I work with eHarmony, OkCupid, and Match, and they're sending me data. I use millions of data points. So this is all math and science, not me guessing. And that webinar is called How to Get a Quality Man in 90 Days, Date Men Who Will Commit and Who Won't Disappear. And this is the system I use to get 83% of my clients into relationships. You guys should definitely check this out. It really works. Gotten 11 people married using it, so check it out.
Amazing. Yeah, that's what Mike is famous for, you guys. He's totally about the online dating and getting 83% of his clients into relationships quickly. Mira says your advice is really phenomenal. Yes, I totally agree, Mike. I'd love to have you back sometime. There's so much to talk about and get your perspective. So that is great. Everyone go check out his free webinar and his other free gift on how to get a man and keep him forever. I hope I'm saying that right. I don't have it written down. Do I have that right?
It sounded good. I liked it.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Let's see. There's probably a channel open somewhere titled What to Do When a Woman Disappears and What to Say When She Comes Back. Yeah, women do this too. We do this too. This is Mike for the person who said that. This is like my, audience is 99% women. So we give advice to, I'm a relationship coach for women. So a lot of my videos affect that. But yeah, a lot of these things go both ways, and we'd love to talk some more about that. So Mike, this was phenomenal. I hope everyone got so much out of that. Feel free to give this video a like and a comment. Share it with a girlfriend if you think she could use this advice. Everyone go check out Mike's 2 free gifts. Mike, thank you so much again, and I hope we can do this again soon.
Thanks for having me. You're awesome. Thanks, guys, for watching. Love everyone.